I remember visiting a holy well in Ireland that was devoted to Mother Mary. And I walked into this stone-lined spring house and saw that the ledges were lined with petitions and prayers, and also lined with these votives, these candles that were lit. And I remember walking into the cool stone interior, and I walked all the way to the end and picked up the cup and put it underneath this fountain of water and drank. And I thought to myself, who keeps these votives alight? Like, nobody was around, nobody was there. And I thought to myself, who is here lighting these candles one after another? And it was such a beautiful moment and a beautiful image. It was one that I came back to again and again and again when I was postpartum. And I felt like I was giving my entire life force over to keeping this other being alive. And when it felt like there was almost nothing left, I remembered those votives lit in this holy well in Ireland. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is true within me. And this is true within you too, that there is a light, a votive, a pilot light that never goes out, that will never dim, no matter how under-resourced you feel, no matter how underslept, no matter how stressed. This votive, this light is always there. And this votive, this light is your creativity. Vitality, sexuality, creativity, life force, they are all one and the same thing. And this idea, this toxic cultural narrative that we have, that you become a mother and then somehow you have less of all those things. Somehow you have less vitality, you're less sexual, you have less creativity, you have less passion, is just absurd. And here's why. Because your creativity is the life force itself, becoming a mother, like bringing life into this world, it only teaches you about this root base, unextinguishable light that is your passion, that is your creativity, that is your drive. Now, of course, like, we're all going to have times, right, where it feels like we're really disconnected from our own creative spark, like that thing that brings us alive. And I know that I went through a long period of time after my daughter was born where I felt like my own creative fire had died. And it terrified me. Because no matter what in my life, like, I always had that creative fire. I always had that fire that said, I will create, no matter how painful or hard this is, no matter how diminished I feel by what is happening, no matter how debilitating this is, I will take this and I will create. And there was something about the specific passage of becoming a mother, of having the entirety of your life force devoted to this other being. It both shows you, right, like how much power and potential there is within you. And it also can illuminate, right, how deeply you need that passion and fire and creativity for your own self. There's something about initiations where you are taken through a process and it removes from you like everything you knew before, everything you could rely on before. And for those of us who are deeply creative people, one of those initiations of motherhood is going to be having times in our life where we feel intensely disconnected from that very thing that brings us alive, from our creativity, from our passion, from our fire. And it makes sense, right? Because we use that fire day in, day out to keep our children alive, to keep them happy and fed and warm and protected, to keep our household running, to keep our families together. All of those things, like all the intactness that we create through our own creative fire often means that at the end of the day, it can feel like there's no resources left. And yet, there is this spark, this pilot light within you that absolutely never goes out. And that I believe, there's a reason why across the world there's such a practice of lighting these votives for Mother Mary, of having the eternal flame associated with the divine feminine. And it's because there is a force inside of you that can never go out. This creative life force is a part of who you are. because this creativity is the life force itself, like, it's not gone because you're still here. If you didn't have more things that you were meant to create and do and craft in this lifetime, you wouldn't be here anymore. That life force that keeps you here, that keeps you present, that keeps you alive in this lifetime is the very thing that is reminding you, yes, you have this eternal flame. Like, yes, there's so much more creativity and passion and potential that is waiting for you in this lifetime, that there is this light that will never go out, and that this initiation into motherhood, it actually does so much to show you this potential and this passion. In between the sleepless nights and the times where you just feel so under-resourced, like there's just no way you're going to have any fire that is just yours, what happens is it strips away all the meta-narratives, all the stories, all the stuff actually that stood in between us and our ability to create before. And you've probably noticed this, right? Like in the past, you might have felt like, well, I need at least 4 hours to whatever it is, experiment with this new recipe or to write this essay. And now you've got 45 minutes while your kid is napping and you get it done. Like, what changed? The only thing that changed was your self-conception and your ability to see yourself as this creative fount, as this person who can tap in at a moment's notice and make it happen. And so this is the truth actually about this deep depth initiation that is motherhood, that it shows you who you are and what you're capable of. And because it helps us release all these meta narratives and stories, this stuff that stood in the way of us just standing in this untapped flow of our creativity, there's this level in which the experience of motherhood actually brings you deeper into your creativity, deep into the ever-flowing well of your creativity in a way that nothing else could and nothing else will. So if you are a mother and you are feeling disconnected from your creative spark, please know that there is that eternal light that will never dim, that is within you, that you're moving through a specific time and cycle right now, but that light is still there, that fire is still there. And the moment that you have a little bit of extra space to breathe, it'll roar into life again. And if you are in a space where you're feeling this, where you're feeling, like your creative spark is something that's been smothered, or you want to reconnect to it, or you're ready to just have it blaze again, I am teaching a class this Thursday just for mothers called Relighting the Creative Fire, Creative Resurrection for Mothers. This 2-hour experience will be a guide to help you find that light, find that fire, no matter how dim things become, to create your own creative map that will lead you back into your own spring house of creativity, this place where that light is always lit. We're going to talk about how to heal ancestral patterns of self-sacrifice, which I think is such a big part, right, of how we start to feel disconnected from our creativity. And together we'll reconnect with our creative muses and gather around this collective bonfire with like-hearted mothers to really warm ourselves and to feel this spark return again. Because no matter what cycle you're in right now, whether you feel deeply connected or whether you're in a moment of just feeling like the life force itself, that spark of life, has gone dim for you, please know that you as a mother are the original fire keeper, that there is a fire that is within you that is so generative, is so big, is so full of so many possibilities, that it is here literally creating life. It is here creating and making possible the lives around you, and that it is a light that will never dim, that you will have access to again. And all we really need, right, are these maps to know how to come home when we're in those moments. That within you is this fire, and you are more creative than you can possibly imagine. I am in awe of you and your creativity, and it really is your creativity that is making this new generation of life, this generative quality of life possible. You are a creative powerhouse, and your creativity is what is making life happen all around you. So thank you so much for your service in this world. And I'm delighted to be connecting with you. This is the first class that I'll be teaching just for mothers. And to teach from such a place of like depth in my own life feels really, really nourishing. So if you are interested in gathering with me, then I will see you then. And if you cannot be there live, then no worries. I'll send you the replay link afterwards. It'll be yours to keep forever. So if it's the time you pick the kids up from the school, or it's when your baby wakes up from the nap, like you can watch it later. You can watch it in 20-minute increments, which is how I watch things these days. Yeah, I've made this class specifically very accessible for those of us who are very full up and full on in life, because there is so much that we're doing, and there's also so much of that warmth and fire and potential that wants to come to help us, to warm us, to support us as we move through life.